What is the best financial move you've ever made? I asked my old job for a raise as I was well underpaid for the work I was doing. They told me how valuable I was, but that they couldn't just raise my pay. So I applied for jobs and was offered a job at a different agency. To get me stay, my old job suddenly found the money to be able to give me a raise, but it was too late. I accepted the offer, slightly less than what my old job was offering me to stay, and got a 10% raise within my first year, as well as a ton of praise for my hard work. Now I make more than I would have if I had stayed. I'm also much less stress and have so much more freedom. Putting my dad's life insurance money in a CD. My dad passed in 2019 and we got about $65,000 each, 2 sisters and I, in life insurance. During that time I had a job, but due to my alcoholism I was fighting, I lost it shortly after he passed. I didn't work due to my addiction from 2019 January 2021. My boyfriend at the time, suggested I put half the money in a CD so I couldn't touch it without penalty. To this day, I still have $30,000 in that CD that collects about $1,200 in interest a year. I am the only one out of my sisters who has any of that money left. I'm also 3 years sober, so that money can now be used for adulting, like a house down payment or a car loan instead of alcohol. I like to think he would be proud of me. Edit. I sincerely thank all of you. You all make me feel so proud of myself. I hope you all have the most wonderful week. Buying a property the moment I could afford the deposit. It seemed like a bad time to buy, but I did it anyway. Best thing I ever did financially for sure. Sorry for boring response. Getting divorced. Not having to support my husband freed up a lot of money. Putting away 10% of my income the second I get it, monthly. I don't even think of that money as mine. Built quite the buffer over the years. Edit. I do the same with bonuses, gifts, etc. Of course this only works if you have a reliable, livable and steady income to begin with. Married a man who's better with money than I am. Lol. Seriously though. He's very into spreadsheets and budgeting and investing etc., and I am not. Getting laser focused on long-term goals versus the "but I want it now" mentality. Everywhere is being pushed because you deserve it. Buy it now. You deserve to be happy and hopefully as stress-free as possible. What is going to get you there? Edit. Wow, thanks for all the upvotes. Doing my bachelor's degree at a university where I had a scholarship that covered all my tuition, and moving in with my grandma for a few years during that time. I worked during the summers and part-time during my semesters, and not having any huge expenses like rent or tuition allowed me to actually build up a bit of savings instead of a bunch of debt. After I received my PhD, I was slated to become an assistant professor. Then, a rather odd man asked me out to lunch. He owned a business dealing in commercial AI, my field, and wanted to pick my brain on a few of the contentions in my dissertation. We got to talking. His passion for the field was similar to mine. Lunch turned into dinner, then after dinner drinks. Not many. The next morning, I received an email offering me the position of Director of Research and Development at his company, starting at 2x what an assistant professorship offered. Greedy me. I jumped at the offer and ended up in a job that produced more than I thought it offered. An opportunity to explore the outer boundaries of my passion, and his. This reads like the back of a romance novel. I worked a commission job from 21 to 27. Every paycheck, all commission, went into savings and I lived only off of my hourly wage. Was not easy or fun, but it definitely paid off for me in the long run. Learning how finances actually work. I think a lot of women, myself included, until I accidentally ended up in a personal finance adjacent job. See personal finance as a douchey bro thing. And depending on what they're talking about or how they're talking about it, it totally can be. But we all owe it to our future selves to maximize our ability to save money, especially as women. It is so much easier to get out of a bad relationship, or deal with a partner suddenly becoming disabled, or dying, when you have at least a few months' expenses in a high-yield savings account, know how to use credit, debt to your advantage, and have made regular contributions into a retirement account. Investing early. Even if it's just a little. I'm mid-40s and my husband and I just hit $1 million in investments, including our $300,000 house. Never would I have thought we would see that number. We still live like we make $50,000 so no one would ever know. Hope one day we get to really enjoy that. Asking for raises and getting them. Living within my means. Not having kids. Marrying someone who has the same ideas about money as I do. I am American, Canadian, and I went to graduate school in France. My tuition, a tax, really, was €250 a year, and the government provided a stipend for students that covered half of my rent. I stuck to a strict budget and had some savings, a meager $4,000, but was able to graduate with only a few $1,000s in credit card debt, which was mostly due to food and train tickets. Given the cheap cost of living and many free activities in France, I had a wonderful time regardless of being on a starvation wage. Now I have an international degree, no debt, I'm bilingual, and have global experience that has opened doors on several continents. I'd do it all again in a heartbeat. Quitting drinking. Buying Amazon stock 20 years ago. Leaving an abusive relationship. All of the money that I lost on things that I wasn't interested in or because he somehow forced me. I say that both lightly and not lightly. I consider an investment in my future. I got out of there. I learned my worth, and I learned how to handle people like that.